Ritchie became Charleston County Sheriff in January of this year. He tells me what he's working on within the department and gives me the latest on the recent incident on Sullivan's Island for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Charleston County Sheriff Ritchie.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly.
Yes, sir.
Needless to say, you have been Charleston County Sheriff since January.
I have.
What is it like for you to go from being Mount Pleasant Police Chief to Mount Pleasant Town Council member to now Sheriff?
To me, it's a natural progression. I always had a servant's heart. This is what I have been doing for 37 plus years. Serving in one capacity or another, especially in public safety. This takes it to a larger scale. Yeah. Gives me the opportunity to serve more of our citizens for being the sheriff of all of Charleston County. So I've enjoyed it so far, enjoyed meeting the folks out there and getting to know all my constituents.
I want to get to that in just a second, but let me ask you, as a sidestep question, what is the state of public safety here in Charleston County?
We're strong. We got great relationships. Obviously, I already knew all the police chiefs. Even our new chiefs that have come in, I've had the opportunity to meet and speak with them. But strong relationships, strong collaborative effort. And May 1st was a testament to that when the incident on Sullivan's Island occurred, where we had so many different agencies come together for one common event, and we worked together seamlessly, supporting one another and bringing justice and a quick arrest for the families and the victims from that incident that day.
I want to go right there because this is coming from ABC News. 2 kids, 1 adult, struck by a car outside of Church Preschool on Sullivan's Island. The suspect, as you know, Sheriff, was found in the boat on the island following a manhunt. The suspect in the hit-and-run incident was taken into custody without incident, as police say. That crash occurred shortly before 1 p.m. on that Thursday at the Sunrise Presbyterian Church, which I know on Sullivan's Island. There was no altercation before the incident, according to Oliver Ponds Police Sergeant Matt Storin, who said the crash was possibly being investigated as intentional. And obviously, I should mention the police identified the suspect as Justin Colin Adams. Mm-hmm. What is new with this case right now?
Sure, and I will tell you that the Chief Meadows from Sullivan's Island actually requested Charleston County Sheriff's Office to conduct the investigation post-arrest, and we, of course, were happy to assist. We did our crime scene, responded to the area, did a great job working on the crime scene. And after we made the arrest, our detectives conducted the interviews with our suspect. And obviously, we made 3 charges of the assault matter intent to kill, the assault that occurred, as well as a 4th charge. And we're continuing, obviously, to do interviews. We've made sure we had the bond hearing. The individual did not get a bond, so he's being held without bond right now for the 3 more serious charges. And we're continuing to communicate with the family and families of the victims. And with these new interviews, if we determine there are additional victims or additional children were targeted, our detectives are considering levying even more charges against this individual. This was a heinous crime. It was intentional, no question about it, and we're going to see it all the way to the end, all the way to the trial, all the way to a conviction.
You talk about that 4th charge, Sheriff. Is that 4th charge carjacking?
No, we don't have the carjacking on that one. Just as the 3 direct assaults on the 3 individuals, and then you had the one teacher who was injured that required hospitalization. That prompted the 4th charge. But we are looking at additional charges.
When do you see those charges being upgraded?
Well, when we continue, we not upgraded because these charges are very serious and high as we can do in this particular incident. But we're looking at additional charges if we identify through our interviews with the parents and the victims, other children that were in the area. If we identify that they were intentionally targeted, they potentially could have additional charges. And those interviews are ongoing. I believe we're interviewing some of them today, as a matter of fact.
How many children were in that area when this transpired?
Don't have the exact number. It was a homeschool group that used the school, and it was quite a few. But whatever the size that school is, one child in there is too many. Let's just be honest. To be targeted like that.
Yeah, I've walked past that church many times. I know the people who attend that church, great people there. So what got this case from obviously the hands of Sullivan's Island Police Department to your Sheriff's Department?
Sure. Again, it's these great partnerships we have with all of our different agencies and municipalities, and Chief Meadows recognized this was a big case, and their smaller agency maybe didn't have the capacity or capability to do what needed to be done, and we were happy to support him. And the residents of Sullivan's Island, and Chief knows anything he needs, he'll get from the Sheriff's Office, and we'll support them throughout this entire situation.
And Sheriff, do you believe, let's say, for instance, assault with intent to kill, will those charges upheld in court, or will those be consistent?
Well, I certainly hope they will. Our investigators have done a fantastic job doing these interviews, identifying what charges should be levied. And we will ensure that we professionally present that case to ensure that we get justice for these children and that teacher and the parents of these children.
Sure. And how are these folks doing right now?
Well, I mean, obviously physically, healing, emotionally, there's a lot to take in here. They're dealing with it, I'm assuming, the best they can, but that's why we have open lines of communication. We make our victim advocates available to anyone who may need them. And they know we're here for them.
And are you all, as far as the Sheriff's Department, looking for any more witnesses in this case?
Always. And we look for anybody that may have seen something or may have Ring cameras, particularly, or cameras on their home. Anything that they think that may help us with this case, that they can reach out to the Charleston County Sheriff's Office and to our investigative unit and provide that to us. And we'll certainly follow up every lead to ensure that we have a solid case when we go to court.
And do you have any more leads?
At this time, I don't have that in front of me. Our detective bureau is working on that, interviewing the other children there, and more leads could develop from these interviews.
And besides May 1st, obviously, Sheriff, what's new, what's now here at the Charleston County Sheriff's Department?
Well, what's new, we'll talk about the jail first and foremost. That was one of my biggest concerns coming in. And the need for a professional, qualified, and trained jail director. We have that now. Mr. Davis, I hired him. He began on the same day I was sworn in, and he has made a huge impact in that jail, bringing years of experience working in corrections before, and leading other jails and prisons where he had worked. So he was able to bring all this knowledge directly to the great staff that we have there, give them the support they need to do their jobs. Morale is getting better with our staff. The inmates are understanding that we're there to protect you, but also to not allow you to continue breaking laws within the jail. We've really taken a hard stance on contraband that's been coming in the jail and stopping it, and we've done very well at doing that. So. We're working very closely with the medical staff that's in our jail to ensure we're providing the proper medical response to all of our inmates, so we don't want any deaths, obviously, in our jail. I'm working with our mental health providers to ensure those that are incarcerated are getting the best mental health they can while they're with us. But we're taking the next step. I'm meeting with I've already had meetings with our mental health professionals to provide those that were getting help in jail continue services when they are released. That's a win-win for everybody, because then hopefully we won't see them back in our jail again. They're not recommitting crimes because they're getting the help they need. So we're working very hard on that. So I'm very proud of the direction the jail's going in. We have a lot of work to continue, still working on getting staff. It's a great career for anybody that wants a career to make a positive impact. So I would encourage folks to look at these openings, apply for these openings, and know it's a rewarding career field to get into.
And going back, obviously, to the jail, Sheriff, with the new director of the jails, how many people did he bring in to actually help buffer the staff, for lack of a better word?
Well, fortunately, we had some good staff in there that just needed the direction and support. And so he's come in, interviewed all of his executive leadership staff, and they have been just a wealth of institutional knowledge, motivated and excited to do the work. So right now he's able to do it with the executive team he had, and then he's working out on the recruitment side to bring in more professional detention deputies for us.
How many of those professionals do you need?
We need about 70 right now, and we need to get those filled. And understand, because we have that shortage, we don't have one of our floors even open.
Wow.
I'm in the jail because we recognize that. We don't want to have not enough staff to take care of the needs of the inmates while they're in there. So where we're at, we had to make some hard decisions of what areas that we could still open up. So we're looking at some very creative ways to bolster our staffing. We're looking at potentially hiring or contracting security companies to assist with some of the non-custodial type work. And we're working closely with our partners over Charleston County. It's the government itself and our procurement folks to see what we can do to make that happen, to get the help we need in the jail.
Now, with that, as far as, obviously trying to hire this security company for non-custodial issues, will this money come from your budget, or will you need money from county council to continue that?
Well, obviously, it's going to come from the county budget regardless, because my budget is the county budget.
Yeah.
We're looking at some creative ways, whether some of the salary money that I already have in my budget for the positions we can't fill could certainly be converted to pay for those individuals. And the thought would be, if we say we need 30 contracted security folks, as we increased our staffing with our full-time employees, we could reduce the number of security folks we need. So it would be a one-for-one type swap with the money. So I believe we can get the funding in there we need. I believe we have the funding. It's just make sure it's where we need it to effectively staff the jail, make sure our inmates are safe and our staff is safe.
And so when you think back to the medical staff, Sheriff, how many people do you need for that?
Now that's contracted, obviously with a company who provides the trained medical professionals. We have our infirmary, and they're the ones that identify the number of staff they need. And we have, I think there's a new director coming on soon that's very qualified, can help reevaluate some of our needs to ensure we're getting what we do need. One of my goals is to actually augment both our staff and the contracted medical we have with trained EMT and paramedics who could be on site 24/7 to provide that immediate emergency first response until we can get the medical staff there. So we're looking at different ways to ensure we have the proper response to any medical emergency we may have.
And what other resources do you need right now at the jail?
Well, that's what I talked about. We need to ensure that we're getting staffing. We got to hire more folks. We get more folks in there, we can do more things.
Sure.
We can do more. We can provide more programs to help get these people from a jail setting back home. I mean, back to where they can be in society and not return. We're working closely with our solicitor's office and public defenders. We have folks that have been sitting in our county jail waiting on trial. So we're working with them so we can get them prepared so they can actually go to trial, plea, whatever they need to do, so we can get them out of our jail and they can serve their time, whatever they need to do, and then get back into society.
What is the current population at the jail?
Right now, our average daily is about 1,300, and I think our capacity, if we were fully staffed, could be 2,000.
Wow.
But my jail director tells me we're averaging 1,300 a day.
Wow. And when do you see that vacant, well, not vacant floor, that
Sure.
the floor being open?
Well, again, once we get that staffing to safely and effectively open that area, we will.
That is great to hear. Well, I know you're busy, so I don't want to hold you up too much.
Yes, sir.
Well, Charleston County Sheriff Carl Ritchie, thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
My pleasure as always, sir.
Thank you.